Christmas, and after Christmas came and went as fast as this year's snow. I hope you've spent this time of the year with a peace of mind and little to no work, unlike myself. But right now that I have some time to continue the project, let's jump into the main topic of this video, that is configuration, or konfiguracja in Polish. There are several definitions of the word configuration, but for our need, configuration is the creation of a setup that consists of tools and workflows that sole purpose is to ease and accelerate the process of game creation. When you start working with the tools that are adjustable, they initially come with the basic configuration. It can work at the beginning, but sooner or later you'll have to tweak or make changes in order to speed up your work. Either simple by checking some options in configuration, or more advanced like adding the plugins that tackle certain shortcomings of the tools. Many people ignore the aspect of initial configuration when they start working with tools and, for example, follow easy tutorial. And that's a good approach in some cases. Later, when they learn more about some aspects of game dev and they start looking for solutions to problems, they usually end up at a project or an editorial configuration. They could get information about this much earlier and use the time they spent on the research to do something else, like asset adjustment, tweaking game mechanics, polishing, etc. That is why I wanted to make the video about initial configuration. But don't get me wrong, configuring the project at the beginning is not the end of configuration itself. Later, when we're going to work with other tools like Blender and FL Studio, we'll have to do another set of adjustments. For example, to create a seamless workflow between these tools and Unreal Engine. Now that we have some knowledge about the topic, here's the plan of this video. First, we will install Unreal Engine, we will add some plugins and tools into it, and then we will create game project. At the end, we will open the game project and make some adjustment into it. There will be an extra optional chapter that I want to present. That is Git configuration for Unreal Engine. I will provide timestamps in the description of this video, so if you're not interested in this aspect of configuration, you can skip it. Now that we know what we are going to do, let's jump into next chapter. Okay, so right now we're gonna download Epic Game Launcher in order to install Unreal Engine that we're gonna use later on. So first we need to access the website. I'll move the window over here. This is the main window that you can see. This is Unreal Engine website, and later on when you scroll, you'll see the download now button. Click on it and you can download the launcher. And it will ask you where to save the download. We will save the Epic installer here in the download folder. At least for me it works for now. And here you can see the installation. So it asks you for the location. I'm leaving it as a default. Then we have to accept, because you have pop-ups that are related to security concerns for the installation. You have to wait a bit. Now you can see the icon appeared. And again, do you want to allow the app to make changes? Yes. We have to wait a bit. Now we have to wait for updates, if there were any, to the Epic Game Launcher. Usually updates are done during the startup, so you don't have to worry when if the Epic Launcher is not updated. Another pop-up related to the launcher prerequisites. It should work right now, so we have to wait a bit. Yeah, the Epic Game Launcher popped up. Okay, so now You can use the related accounts to access the Epic Game Store, but in order to properly use Unreal Engine and be able to access other resources like plugins, assets, we have to use Epic Games account. You can create it in the meantime. You don't have to make it right now. I'll show you how it looks when you try to access the Epic Game Launcher using the account created in the Epic Games. Okay, now I have to paste the password. In order to enable new launcher functionality, okay, so we are allowing the administrator privileges, and that's how you see the main window. This is the main window. That's how you see it at the beginning. If you're using the Epic Game Store launcher downloaded through the Epic Games website, you won't be able to see this option. You would have to later on log into your account, make some changes in the launcher, because it comes with this option, but it's not enabled by default. So right now we have access to Unreal Engine. We click on this. Now we can see this is a different window, and here you have the main page where you can see some news, updates, especially you can look for the projects that pops up from time to time on the Epic Game Store on this page. They are really helpful when you try to learn something new. But enough of that. We go to library, and here we have engine version section. We click on the plus button, and as you can see, the version that we want to install popped up, and we can click install. Here it will ask where to install our Unreal Engine launcher. I will choose here. When you see installation options, you can choose some extra components that you want to include during the installation. We will leave it as it is, so we will have some extra options for Linux, iOS, and Android, and core components for sure. Plus we will have some engine source and starter content. We will use it. So we will leave this, and now I'm gonna change location. And now we're gonna see the Epic Games UE 5.3. And now we click install, and we just have to wait. Usually it takes some time, for around 30 minutes. It depends on your download speed. But later on you have the verifications tab where the installer is verified before being applied, so it takes some time too. You can check the progress of your download and installation in this section when you click on downloads, and here you can see how long it took to download. So right now you can just go relax, do something else. I'll probably try to do some cleaning. House chores still not done. So we will see later how the installation ended up. Okay, now as you can see, we have no task. That means that the engine has been installed, and we have our engine ready to launch. But we are not doing this right now. We're going to add some plugins that we're later on gonna use during the project. I will show you on the screen the list of the plugins that you can add. Right now I will show you how to do it on the example plugin. So first we're going to Marketplace here. Now you can check over here that we can grab something for free. I will go with the Epic Games content. And here you can see there's a MetaHuman plugin. When we click it, we have two options. Either we can click it and the free button, that is, it will automatically add to our account, plus it will ask us to add the plugin to the engine, from what I remember, or you can add to cart. That is, if you have some other plugins that you want to add, you can add it to the cart. It will count $0, and later on you can click here and do the checkout when it appears. So for example, if I add this to the cart, as you can see, it's in the cart. We have the shopping cart, and here when you proceed you can click checkout, and it will automatically add this to our library. So later when we go to library over here, we can filter out newly added plugins. So here we have a meta human, and as you can see, it asks us to install to the engine, and when we click it, install plugin, you can point out the version that you have installed. Usually when you don't have this plugin installed on the certain versions, it will be available here in the dropout list. So we have the 5.3 version of Unreal Engine. We click install, and we have to wait. It works similarly to the installation of the engine. That is, the plugin needs to be downloaded first, then it's going to be verified, and later on it's going to be added to our engine. Yeah, now it's verifying, it's cleaning up, and that's it. And we have plugin installed. To see the list of installed plugins, you can check installed plugins, and here you can see by default you have a Quick Bridge and MetaHuman that we installed right now. You can remove this by clicking this button. Right now we are not going to use MetaHuman, so we can remove it. It's going to uninstall, and you can see that it's cleaning up. You can see the progress over here too, and voila, that's it. Now we can add the plugins that I listed previously to our engine, and we should be ready. So now we have our engine installed, and we have plugins installed too. So next, what we're going to do is to launch the engine. So we click on the launch button. We have to wait for a bit. Right now it should pop up some UAC windows. You just have to agree. It will download some extra content in order to enable Unreal Engine to launch. And you can see the engine is initializing. When you start the engine for the first time, it can take a bit longer because it needs to load most of the files that are related to the engine, recompile it, adjust it, etc. In order to later on launch it quicker, because all the data is already pre-compiled. You don't have to worry about recompilation. And as you can see here, I have some projects because I've been working on them in the past. I've been testing some projects, as you can see, the old card physics project that I downloaded from the internet. But right now we're gonna create the new project. And here you have the window games. You have the tab games. And here you can create the game from the template. You have some templates over here. You have first person, third person, top down. You have some virtual reality and vehicle physics. But we're going to use the blank because we will try to build most of the mechanics from the ground up. So we're choosing the blank. Next, we choose the project location where we want to create our project. So here I created the separate folder for my projects. I will try to select it, so it's gonna be D game dev project Unreal Engine, and the project name for now it's gonna be project SII, so it's abbreviation for the Space Invaders Italy that I mentioned in the game design document in the previous videos. The project default options, I will leave it as it is. And as I mentioned previously, we're going to use blueprints for coding and other stuff. So right now we have to click the create button and wait. We will wait. It will take some time to initialize and to precompile some assets. And Windows. Yeah, and it pops out. Now you can see the basic level that it's launched at the beginning, and you can get yourself closer to the ground. And voila, I'm gonna slow down the speed. So that's it for now. Later on, we're gonna go and adjust the configuration of this project to ease our work in the next devlog. And the last thing before we jump into configuration, the good practice is to first save the project just to be sure that everything is all right, that nothing was left or nothing was created during the project initialization, because sometimes some assets are not registered as already saved. Therefore, it's a good practice to save the project at the beginning and later on try to work on it. Okay, so right now we have created the project. Now we're gonna go into configuration. So in order to perform configuration, we will adjust two sections, I would say, or two stack of settings, because we have editor preferences and we have project settings. And each of these can be adjusted per project. So right now we are going to edit some editor preferences. We go into edit and we click on edit preferences. And as you can see, we have the main window with the general appearance. Here we can adjust some colors for now, but we are not interested in this. You have a bunch of more options in here. For example, you can adjust options for crash reporter, for visual logger. We'll have ability to perform some keyboard shortcut configuration in order to speed up your work in editor. Right now, I will show you what options I would like to change in this project in order to ease the work for me. So here I will try to change up enable long path, enable support for long path. This option is related mostly to the Windows systems, because in the past you had the hard limit for the length of the path for the files folders. It was 260 characters. But from the Windows 8 or 10, if I remember correctly, this limit can be disabled when you go into registry options and you try to change the flag file in order to inform the system that we want support for the longer paths. Here in the Unreal, you can bypass it by using this option. So right now I will click on the check in order to set it to true. And that way we don't have to manually go through the system's options in order to enable this. This is important when you try to organize your work and you accidentally do too deep file structures in order to ease your work. Okay, so we set this option. Now we're going to set draw midpoint arrows. Draw midpoint arrows in blueprints. This will help us visualize the logic of our code when we will later on work with the blueprints. When we add the player logic, enemy logic, some reactions to events, etc. So we are enabling this option. Next, we have editor open location. Asset editor open location. This option is related to these tabs over here. If you leave it as it is, usually when you create the new asset, the new window will pop up and it will clutter your screen. So if you're someone like me that you want to operate on the one main window, I usually set this option to main window. With this, each time when you create something new or you try to open the new window after, for example, you restart your Unreal Engine editor or you close and you open it later on, the new window won't pop up. It will automatically be added to the main window and the new tab will appear over here on the top. So your screen won't be cluttered. So it was set like this. Next we have log font size. Log font size is related to the output log. Later on we will probably use it when we try to debug some stuff, when we try to add the logic. By default it's set to 9. I like to set it to 12 because I work on the screen with high resolution, and Unreal Engine isn't easily adjustable as any other editor is. That is, if you try to increase the font size, you need to change other option that I will show you in the future. Maybe they will add some easier configuration like other programs have, for example Blender and FL Studio. Okay, so we have our font size set. Now we are going to show frame rate and memory. Show frame rate and memory is related to showing the runtime statistics for the project that we are working right now. It is shown over here when you go to the level editor, and you see on the right top corner you have FPS, memory, object count. This is very important later when you try to finish your game and you start working on optimization, because you will probably add some stuff that works on your system. Later you will perform some tests or you will ask someone to test your build, and usually during the test the subject of optimization will appear. That is, for someone this won't work because it will have the frame drop, or it will stagger a lot during some sections. So it will be up to you to perform optimization, and these statistics are really useful when you try to do it. I recommend to have in the back of your mind the optimization problem, and trying to work with the project with this in mind. I will try to explain how to do it later when we add some content. So when we had some mechanics and first enemies, I'll probably touch the subject of optimization then. Okay, so we have, I would say we have most editor preferences options set. There are some other options, but we will tackle them later on. Okay, now that we have our editor preferences set, now we're going to change project settings. So as previously, we go into edit and we click on project settings, and at the beginning you can see the description section. Here you can put your description of your game, you can put the title of your project, you can add some more details related to publishing section, you can change the project template. Some of the aspects we will add it later, some we will try to do it right now. Okay, When it comes to project thumbnail, it is useful when you work with many projects and you usually start working by opening Unreal Engine app, because there you can see the list of your project that you're working on, and this thumbnail is used to visualize what you're working on in the editor window. So okay, we have a description section. I will try to add some quick description that is Space Invaders about cook that for the recipe. Okay, we'll have something like this. Project ID, I usually leave it as a default as a generated. Project name, right now we're gonna type project space Invaders Italy. Okay, and now we have project version. Project version by default is set to 1000. Usually you shouldn't start like this, because the first number indicates that it is a working title. That is, it works, it has the minimum that you wanted to put, and you want to, for example, release it to the public. Usually you should start notation from 0, 0, 0 and 1 over here. Because right now this is empty project, and you are trying to increment the change, and by incrementation you can later on adjust the project version, for example from 001 to 002, and later on in the future you can point to 0.5.0.6, something like this. These two numbers usually indicate the significant change in the project. One of these can work as a patch note number, the other one can work as a significant change that you added, for example, big mechanic, or you overhauled other mechanic in your game. This will be changed when we finish working on the project. Okay. The rest of this section I will leave it empty or as a default, because we will adjust it later on when we try to finish the project. What do we have next? Next, we need to adjust scrollable size. So we go into the search bar, max scrollable, max scrollback size. Sorry, max scrollback size. Max scrollback size is related to the output windows in Unreal Engine. It is related to the output log too. So here I change from 1024 to 2048. So I just doubled the size. It is useful when we try to do some debugging processes. So I recommend to increase it. If you don't want to, you can leave it as it is. And extra one option, can blueprints tick by default? Can blueprints tick by default is the option related related to optimization. Yeah, I wanted to set it like it is. So this option is related to the optimization aspect, because every time when you create the blueprint object from the newly created project, your blueprint will tick by default. That is, the game engine will try to execute the method tick that executes each time a new frame generates. So we don't want to burden our engine. We will try to turn on the ticking on the object by us. Because if we try to work the other way around, that is, we have the ticking enabled by default, and we try to, for example, optimize that we have to go manually turn off ticking, etc., etc. For some people it can work like this. For me, I will try to work the other way around. That is, I will try to be responsible for the ticking myself instead of relying on an engine. Okay, so we have options enabled. Now I'll try to show you 2 extra sections that we will probably go back in the future. For sure, we're gonna go into maps and mode sections. This is under the project section, subsection maps and modes. Here you can add information about your project game mode, that we will discuss it later, but most importantly we have a maps section. Here when you work with the editor, usually you should point out where you want to start editing after launching the Unreal Engine, and later on when you try to make the builds of your game, you want to inform the system from which map you want to start your game in order to be played. So right now they are set to open world, and this map is located in the engine's templates, because we created from the template file, so it points to the template map. Later on we will try to create the basic level, and there we will add some changes, so we will for sure go back to this section and inform our engine that we want to point to our newly created map. Okay, so I talked about this, and we have other section that is worth mentioning, that is target hardware. Target hardware is the section that appeared in the project defaults previously when we created the project. The options that were under the blueprints and C++ options for the project. Here you can adjust it right now. So if you click on the desktop maximum, you can change from the maximum to scalable. You can see what effects are affected by this change. So you have, for example, motion blur, auto exposure, and anti-aliasing disabled. With this, we ensure that our project doesn't consume as much of the graphics card as it usually we would do when we try to set it on the maximum. But for now, I'll try to leave it as it is. I doubt we will go back to this section. If something goes wrong, we will probably go back over here and try to use this to optimize our game. And that's it. That's it from the project settings section. So we did editor preferences and project settings. Now we're going to create file structure. When you go into the level editor and you click the key combination Control plus space, you can see that the window popped up from the bottom, and you can see the file structure of our project. Right now we have empty because we did not import any template content to our project by default. It wouldn't be empty if we would try to create, for example, first person template, third person template project, etc., etc. So right now I'll try to show you how I structure my objects. That is how I created my file structure in order to have the project organized. Okay, so we have an empty space. We can click the right click on this empty space, and we can choose new folder. Here the new folder appears, and already is focused on editing the name of folder. First folder I will try to create is blueprints. Here I will add code objects related to the blueprints coding. That is player object, enemy object, probably power-ups, and other stuff. Next, I'll try to use the shortcut that is Ctrl Shift and N to create a new folder. And we have a new folder called meshes. Because as I said at the beginning in the first devlog video, we will use extra tools, that is Blender. And usually when you use Blender, you create meshes. So we'll try to add meshes, static meshes over here. Next folder we will have materials. Materials, also known as shaders. Materials is an Unreal Engine name. Shaders, because we need to add some texture to our models. So we will add the shaders over here. And shader related materials, that is, we have textures, normal maps, ambient occlusion, etc. Next we have another folder called sounds. Sounds will contain two folders. That is SFX, relates to sound effects, and music, because we will probably add some ambient music content. Okay, next we want to create the folder called visual effects. So we're gonna be VFX, because we will try to add probably smoke, trail, explosions, something like this. Next folder will relate to the user experience, that is UI. We'll create blueprints object specific for the UI, graphic UI for the user. And do I need something more? Oh yeah, I need one more extra folder called game mode, or game modes. This is very important object in our game. I will tackle this in the next devlog for sure, so you don't have to worry about it. But you need to make sure that you have this game mode folder. And the last thing to do for now is to enable our plugins. We added them earlier. Right now we will enable them because they are not enabled by default. In order to enable these plugins, we go to editor preferences. Sorry, my bad. We go to edit, and here you have in configuration section plugins. And you have the list of built-in plugins that comes with the Unreal Engine. Usually they are added during installation process. And you have installed. These are installed manually by us. So right now we click on this installed section. And as you can see, we have our 3 plugins that we have installed previously. There's one extra, but we are not interested in this. Because we're not doing anything related to codecs. So right now, in order to enable these plugins, we click on the check mark to check them, to set them to true. And the information popped up. You must restart Unreal Editor for your changes to take effect. So we click on restart now. And voila. So that's it when it comes to plugins. And when you go again to the plugins section and installed, you see these plugins are enabled. You can make adjustment to these plugins. Usually these options are under editor preferences, and when you scroll down you have a plugins section and you have new plugins over here. The auto size, comment, flat notes. I don't see the options for project cleaner. Well, we will look for it later on. I did not make any changes to this, and I didn't plan to do it right now because this is the second time I work with these plugins, and if it will be needed, I will try to make adjustments later when we work with bigger content in this project. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so right now we did the following. We configured editor preferences, we configured project settings, we created a file structure for our game project, and we enabled plugins that we're going to use in this project. And that's it for now. I will see you guys later. Now it's time for an extra content, that is Git configuration for Unreal Engine. And I'll try to explain, first of all, what is Git. Git is version control tool. That is the tool that allows you to have the versions of your changes for the given file in the time, and later on when you have any problems with your file, that is the code is broken or the image isn't as you wanted to do, you can just go back to the certain point in the past and revert the changes. This is very useful because it acts as some kind of fail-safe, the backup system. Although it shouldn't be used as it, more likely it should be used as an organization tool. That is, if you provide the changes to the project, you know to what they are related. For example, if you work in a big company, especially IT company, you have tasks for each and everyone in your team. And tasks can be different and can point into different section of the project. So in order to not mess up the code, these people will create the branches from the project. They will create their own changes and they will try to apply these changes to the main project. And that's how you can keep in touch with every change and not to mess up the project overall. So this is very useful, especially for the teams, but you can use it in the standalone way for your own purposes. And that's why I try to use this tool in the Unreal Engine project, in this game project, to sort of make notes or try to make certain timestamps in the timeline. That is, when I try to introduce some changes, you will see when they have been introduced. So right now I hope that I explained what is the Git and how I'm planning to use it. So we can now go into implementation of it. That is how to present this configuration to our Unreal Engine project. Okay, so right now we're gonna add extra configuration to our Unreal Engine, that is Git versioning control. So in order to do that, first you should have account in the versioning platform. I created the account in the GitHub github.com because you can have public and private repositories for free. There are some hard limits, but you shouldn't consider them right now unless you are planning to do a very big project. Okay, extra tools that we need to have on our system is the Git itself. So right now we're going to the git-scm.com and we're trying to download the client for the Windows. So download for Windows, we're choosing the 64 type, and I'll put it in the download section. And we need Git large files because Unreal Engine have some files that can be big, and second of all, they are pre-compiled. That is, these are not the clean code itself. This is just the string of bytes that is fairly hard to interpret by the versioning tools. So in order to mitigate this problem, the large file system was created in order to version this kind of files. So we are downloading the large file storage client, and we are saving it. Okay, and the last tool we will need to visualize our changes will be the GitHub desktop. This is the dedicated client for the users of the GitHub. So we are downloading this too. It is saved. Okay, so right now we are going to install Git. It is fairly easy to install. Usually you should just go straight through the next. You shouldn't be bothered by the defaults. I have installed this tool some time ago, but if you didn't have this installed, this window should not be popped out. Any additional things to check here? No. You can set the check daily for Git for Windows updates. All you don't want to, because these windows will pop up and can annoy you each and every day. But I will check this option, at least for me. Next, we will leave this as it is. Use theme text editor. I have installed the Visual Studio Code because here you can use certain tools to adjust the GitHub Git configuration. We won't try to do it manually right now. If it's necessary, I will tell you how to do it. So we click next. Let Git decide about the naming. We have a command line also for, yeah, we are leaving as it is. Open SSH. This is used usually when you configure the Git client and the Git account has a secure connection. So it is recommended to, at least by me, I use this client that is bundled with the Git client, and OpenSSL library too. Windows style check any Unix style ending. We're leaving as it is, and we're leaving as it is too. Fast forward or merge. We are using when we have the git pull command. When we call this command, it will switch for one of these operations. I leave it as it is as a default. Git credentials manager for credentials. System caching, I leave it as it is, and I don't check anything over here. And we'll just wait to Git for to finish installation. You don't have to worry about this error. Running post installation, and we can uncheck this option to view the release notes, and it's finished. So we installed the Git. Right now we are going to install Git LFS. So we are installing the next one. The user account control window will pop up, so you can agree to it. You agree to the licenses. Your installation is this, probably the same localization as Git, and finished. And now when you go into the start and you try to look for Git Bash, you have the new application that is called Git Bash. This is the Linux-based terminal for the Git tool. And right now we are going to enable the Git LFS option sheet. Git LFS install is initialized. Okay, so Git LFS is initialized. Most of the stuff is set up. Right now what we need to do is to enable Git in our project. One thing to do for us in order to properly enable the Git configuration in Unreal Engine. We will have to install the Git desktop setup because we need to add some information to our Git configuration, and it's usually added using this tool, or it should be. Okay, so you probably don't have this view. Options. Usually you will be asked to sign in to the GitHub because you need to add some information about yourself in the Git configuration. Right now it bypassed it because I already had been logged in the past, and it used some information to log in again. So right now I'm going to sign out. I'll try to sign in. I'll continue with the browser. I'll open this, and it's re-logged me again. Okay, so right now I want to remove this project because I am not using this. Okay, so this is the view that you're going to see after you log in. So you have some information about yourself, and you can create a repository, clone, etc, etc. So we will leave it as it is for now. We can minimize this, and now we're going to go into Unreal Engine project and initialize the configuration. Okay, now it's time to add our Git configuration to Unreal Engine project. So on the right bottom corner you can see revision control, and we can connect to revision control. Right now we have the provider set to none, but we want to use Git. It is in a beta version, but we are not worried about this notation. The Git path is, I used the one that has been set by installer. That is, here you see some information. I blurred out some sensitive information for my account, but you can see you have your username and you have an email. Right now we have add and ignore file. Yeah, we have add a basic readme information. We click on add Git attributes to enable Git LFS. We enabled Git LFS by default on the system, but right now we want to enable it for this project. So we have make initial Git configuration. It's going to be initial commit plus configuration. Configuration. Okay. So we have everything like this, and we initialize the project, and we accept the changes. Connection revision is set. So as you can see at the bottom we have a local repository, we have remote origin is empty right now. We will configure it later on. We have our information about our account. So that's it from the side of the Unreal Engine. Right now we go back to the GitHub and we try to add existing repository from the path. So we are going to look for our project. That is, in my case, it's going to be in the D, in game dev and projects in Unreal. You have project SSI, and this is the root level you want to choose. So we have select the folder. We have the path to our project at repository. It asks you to initialize Git LFS. So we are initializing, and right now we have 0 changes. But in order to add some changes, we will add Git LFS configuration. That is, we go to git bash, and we go to the path of our project. That is, if you go back to the path to our project, that is going to be project SSI. When we copy, when you go to the project, go and copy the path to the root folder of your project and paste it over here by right clicking and pasting. The git path should change the location of our editor. So right now you can see that we are in our project, and next what we have to do is to add some information to our LFS. That is, we want to add git LFS track. So we're gonna track files from Unreal Engine. Right now we're gonna track you as set and git LFS view map. So we are tracking these two files. And when you go back to the GitHub desktop window, you can see that the new window appeared, and we have one extra file with the git attributes content. And push the changes. But right now we have our git attributes files. We are updating our git attributes, so we can type update git attributes, and in description adding in track about assets and maps. So we are committing to master, and in the history you see we have our initial configuration, and the configuration that we previously changed, that is default engine, default editor, was committed. Plus we have our changes to the git attributes added. So in order to have this remotely in our GitHub repository, we click publish repository. You have options to where to publish it, and so right now we have a publish repository window, and we have a title, project SSI, and we can type the description. That is Space Invaders, Space Invaders inspired game. I will not keep this code as a private. You can keep it as a private. You have the ability to do so. I will have it as a public project to later on share with you my progress. So we have a publish repository. We just wait a bit, and that's it. And when we go back to the GitHub and we check our profile, we see we have new project called project SSI with our changes. So that's how you add Git configuration to Unreal Engine project. Later on I will show you how to use branching and how to properly control making changes in the project. Okay, so that's all from me now. I hope you like it, and I hope this will help you in the near future, or either at the beginning of your project or maybe later in the project, because you stumbled upon this video and somehow the certain options were just the right thing that you needed in order to push yourself further. In the meantime, I will probably attend some events, so I won't have time to work continuously on the project. So the next devlog can probably be later, maybe not this month, but the next month, like in the middle of it. So I'll keep you in touch for sure. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you like it, and I will see you in the next devlog. For the next devlog, I plan to do the level creation and the movement. We will see how it works. So I hope it will work. Okay, so see you again next time in the next video. Bye bye. Thanks a lot for sticking with me. I hope you liked this video. If you're interested in the future content, hit the subscribe button and bell icon for future notifications. That's all for me. Thanks a lot again, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye! Do zobaczenia!